How are you all doing? Today I wanted to give a brief lesson, kind of doing an overview of verb conjugation in Northern Paiute. As before, I just want to make sure everyone is aware again that there are multiple dialects and even idiolects within the Northern Paiute language. And so this is just an overview, just like in English and any other language, people who speak fluently, native speakers, can very easily break the rules, and we make sense of it. We understand, as native speakers of whatever the language, we understand when people kind of go against the norm, and so that can happen, and it does happen. And in the future, I'd love to go kind of make a video walking through a story, a traditional story, and just kind of walking through the text word by word and kind of going through and kind of breaking it down. That way y'all can begin to make sense of it, actually see it in use in a story. But until then, just here's, again, a brief overview of Paiute verb conjugation. For the most part, let's look at this top part here. For the most part, the vast majority of verbs, they don't change at all. They don't inflect depending on the number of people doing an action. For example, this word to see in Paiute is puni. Puni, and it doesn't change whether it's one person, two people, three people, multiple people. It's kind of like the English word go. I go, you go, we go, they go. It just stays the same constantly. So, for example, here's one sentence. Ne kanana puni. Ne kanana puni. It means I see the man. I see the man. Ne kanana puni. And then this one is plural. Nemi mesade puni, which means we see the dogs. So it doesn't change at all. And that's the vast majority of verbs. Again, that's just what they do. It's very easy. It's great. Past tense, for this particular word, puni, all the time, pretty much every time that I've seen it used, the past tense doesn't change either. It's just contextually. By the context, you know whether it's in the past or present, whether it's by using some sort of temporal adverb, such as saying yesterday. I could say yesterday I saw the man, and I would just add yesterday in front of this first sentence or somewhere in there. Idzi'i, yesterday. Idzi'i ne kananapuni. Yesterday I saw the man. Another way, though, is by adding this sequential suffix. This sequential suffix se afterwards, so it'd look like something like this. And that is a way of indicating that something had previously taken place. Again, in the future, we'll see that in different stories. So this is just an overview. The future tense, though, this one is quite common, is what they do is they'll add this suffix, ku, K-W-U, ku. So in this sentence, Ninokimasi musu uponikwe, which means come with me and you yourselves will see it. Actually, look, there's this sequential suffix right here in this word, kimasi. So come with me and you yourselves will see it. So kwe. Very commonly used for a future tense. But let's look at another word that does change a bit more depending on the number, whether it's singular, dual, or plural, and that is the word for go, which is mia. So in the singular here, mia. Let's look at this first one in present tense. Sudanaka tukwanata ma'amia, which means there goes, so it's present tense. There goes the one with the bad ear. And this comes from a story. All of these examples comes from stories. So there goes the one with the bad ear, mia. But in the dual, in other words, two people, it is mimia. So it has this reduplication in front of the root. So mimia. The first syllable of the word mia is reduplicated to form the dual form, mimia. So uno mimia. Uno mimia means those two were going with him. So whoever the two people were, they were going with someone. Mimia. The plural it looks like this. It kind of has a little bit of reduplication, but in the end, in the back, at the end of the word. So mia'a, mia'a, mia'a. So the sentence example is Tami kauna tegukwe tu mia'a, which means we go, or you can say we're going to the place where he was put. This actually is from a story we're referring to where someone was buried after he died. So we go to a place where he was put. Nami kauna tegukwe tu mia'a. In the past tense, so there are different ways of forming past tense when it's other than contextually, like I said above. So in this case, here's a couple examples. One is to add this suffix pu, p. That's a perfective suffix, so indicate something that has already taken place. And oftentimes it's something that has taken place not recently, so it's more in the distant past. So hanosu mpiamiap. Hanosu mpiamiap means where did your mother go? So in this case, the story, the mother had taken off like a day or two ago, and so he's asking, where did your mother go? Hanosu mpiamiap. The second example, who, and that one is more a recent past. And so in this case, as you can see, it's a dual form. So it's the mimia, and it says yesh wadzi mimiahu. Wadzi mimiahu. It means that they went away secretly. In other words, they snuck out. Yesh wadzi mimiahu. And it just happened. So it just recently happened. I couldn't find any examples of the plural form, but again, it can either have one of these two forms or it just won't be used at all. It'll just be by context or maybe adding the sequential suffix C. In the future tense, in the singular up here, I will go to McDermott. So ne tamuruwe tu miakwa. Ne tamuruwe tu miakwa. I will go to determine. So will go. In the dual form, we have the same story of these two who snuck away secretly. They first said, Yeshuadzimi miakwa. Yeshuadzimi miakwa. Saying, we will sneak out, or we will go away secretly. And finally, the future for the plural is tamimiaakwa. Tamimiaakwa. We will go. Now again, these are just general kind of what can take place depending on different dialects. I have also seen the plural being used just looking like the normal mia. So just keep that in mind. Again, I hope to soon make a story, or not make a story, but make a video showing an actual story, walking through a story so that you can see these different tenses being used in an actual traditional story. So until then, I hope you enjoyed. Pishama, thank you for listening. Until next time, punirua.